This is the Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire Podcast, the only sex podcast for 7- and 8-figure conscious leaders who want to embody their pleasure and to have the best sex of their lives. I'm Tilly Storm, top 20 sex coach in the world, and your host today. Welcome back, loves. It's Tilly Storm, and today we are talking about the Tao of sexual transformation. This is all about moving from a sexual winter to spring because it's almost springtime in the Northern Hemisphere, and I just love this because this is where so many of my clients are. They have been in a sexual winter, having low libido, not really feeling like a sexual person, having lost touch with their sexuality, and they don't know how to move into the opposite of that, into a spring and summer phase of their sexuality. And the Jade Egg practice, which is the practice that I teach all of my female clients to help them get out of that sexual winter, move into a spring, is exactly the practice that helps them to reconnect to sexuality, to wake up sexual energy inside from a winter. So if you are experiencing low libido, if you're uninterested in sex, if you're just feeling disconnected from your body and sexuality, and you feel that you are in a sexual winter, then this episode is going to be super valuable for you today. And just know that everything that I'm sharing with you today is really based in the Taoist philosophy of sexual energy being life force energy, Jing Qi energy, which if you are disconnected from it, then it often results in a depressed nervous system state, like a hypo response state in your nervous system, making it really difficult for you to go about your life, to be successful, to really put out your best work in the world. It will have you feeling really depleted and lacking energy. And so many women that come to me are in this space because they aren't quite sure how to integrate their sexuality into all of who they are. They're not sure how to wake up that energy inside because maybe they've had children and they kind of banished that sexual part of themselves once they became a mom, or they have been in a business and have been so in that masculine energy of constantly doing all the things that they've had to leave their sexuality behind in order to operate and be functional and not know how to bring all of themselves to the table. So I'm super excited to share this with you because really this is the crux of what I help women transform, is feeling that they're moving from a sexual winter to a sexual spring and eventually a sexual summer. All right, so the Taoist philosophy of sexual energy. So the Taoist philosophy recognizes the connection between physical and spiritual health. Taoism and Tantra are two of the only paths, spiritual paths that I know of, and maybe some mystical traditions out there that I don't have a name for or that I just don't know about, that really discuss someone's sexuality and that don't deny sexuality on the path to enlightenment and spiritual awakening and spiritual health. Meaning that in Taoism and Tantra, you can't have a full awakening into the spiritual realms without being integrated in your sexuality, without bringing your sexuality on board. Whereas in most Western spiritual traditions and religions, you are asked to give up your sexuality, especially in Catholicism, right? Like you don't get married, you don't have children if you're a priest and if you're a nun, because you have to deny that part of yourself and you have to marry God instead, right? So in Taoism and Tantra is very, very different. And in the way that your sexuality is an essential part of your nature and you're never asked to deny that part of yourself. In fact, you don't get to spiritual enlightenment without bringing that part of yourself forward. So the Taoist philosophy really recognizes that if you aren't sexually vital, if your sexuality is in a winter space, then it's going to be very challenging for you to not only have energy to do life, but energy to have any sort of spiritual awakening or connection with God. So the Taoists believe that sexual energy is a vital part of overall health and wellness. They're very focused on health. And in this philosophy, it doesn't say that if you're in a sexual winter, that means you're unhealthy. No, it just means that we go through different phases and we go through different cycles. And when we honor the phase and we bring love, acceptance, and compassion to the phase that we're in, then we're able to move into the next phase in the next season of life or the next season of our sexuality. So nowhere in this tradition does it say, if you're in a sexual winter, there's something wrong with you and you need to fix that. No, no, no. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's saying that, hey, if we slow down and honor our body where it is right now, and deem it as enough and recognize it as enough to get in touch with our essential nature deep enough in an experiential way to understand that your pleasure is enough right now, your body is enough right now, you are enough right now. Whatever you are experiencing is absolutely enough. When we reach that place, then our body begins to build a level of trust with us again, or we start to build a level of trust with our body, vice versa, right? Both ways. It goes both ways. So our body, when we bring loving, present compassion and kindness and acceptance to our body, it often responds in a way that it begins to open up, that the tulips and the bulbs begin to rise even when there's snow on the ground, right? That we have these little glimpses of spring coming, that things are starting to wake up inside again. But it's only within the honoring of the season does the next season come. And the more that we resist the winter, the more that we say it's not right, that this means something is wrong with me, the more that we judge the season we're in, the more that you are going to stay in that season because you aren't allowing the flow and the cycles of life to move through you. So the sexual winter, what does it look like? Well, this is a time of low energy. It's a time of lack of desire, lack of sexual longing, decreased sexual activity. It means that you're just not really that interested, or maybe you're interested in it, but you just don't feel it inside. You don't feel that mojo. You don't feel that bubbly springtime energy. And it can be due to stress or illness or other factors affecting your physical and emotional health, whatever it is. So it's important to recognize when you are in a sexual winter and to take the steps to move into that sexual spring so you don't get stuck there. Now, again, yes, we honor the season we're in, but there's also, with women in particular, this thing that we tend to do, which is, it's almost like a self-loathing thing. Like when we're in that sexual winter, it's almost like we can't even bring ourselves out of it because we get in that depressed state, and it's like it takes so much energy. It feels so challenging and so difficult to take the step to move into the new season that we just don't. And staying stuck there by not doing any practices, by giving up on your self-care, by giving up on your self-pleasure practices in general, this is not the way to do it, okay? If you're in a sexual winter, it doesn't mean give up on your sexuality. It doesn't mean make it unimportant. Absolutely not. And this is what I see women do, is that they just give up on it. They don't know what to do to help themselves. And they self-loathe and they get stuck in this sexual winter phase. And then they come to me and they're like, oh, but now this is just another thing I have to do. Or it's another thing that I have to fix for myself. Oh, I'm so broken and look at all the things I have to fix about myself. This mindset, I can't work with that. Like, it drives me a little crazy to hear that sort of stuff. And it's it's just annoying, okay? Because if you want to improve any area of your life, you know it's going to take time and attention and some energy, okay? You can't expect to be healthy and to have a physical body that's fit and strong if you don't eat good food and you don't work out regularly. So I don't want to hear this crap about, oh, I have to do another thing. Yeah, you have to do another freaking thing, because if you want a healthy sex life, if you want to come into that sexual spring and winter, you've got to get over the fact that you actually have to do something, okay? So don't go expecting that your sexuality is going to change and you're all of a sudden going to move from a winter to a spring and a summer by not doing anything. Okay, yes, it means you have to do shit, okay? So how do you do that? Well, here are 6 steps to unlocking your sexual potential and to move from a winter to a spring. The first is to start your jade egg practice. Did you know that the jade egg practice, I think you can just listen to the word egg and know intuitively that it is a springtime practice. This practice is meant to take you from winter to spring. The whole practice is designed to take you through the seasons of sexuality, but it's specifically designed for women who are wanting to blossom their sexuality into a springtime. Therefore, it is pertinent that you start a jade egg practice. You can go download my How to Start a Jade Egg Practice e-guide right now for free at the link in the show notes, and you will have 3 warm-up practices and 3 audio-guided jade egg practices that I give you completely for free. You have absolutely no excuses not to go download that e-guide right now. If you are in a sexual winter, you go to the show notes at the bottom and you download the damn thing now. Okay, now obviously it doesn't do you any good if you download it and you don't actually do anything. So what if you don't have a jade egg? You go buy the jade egg. It's less than $100 at the link in the show notes as well, and you get started. Okay, so if you are in the sexual winter and you have not started a jade egg practice yet, that is the first step that you get to take to blossom and awaken and unlock your sexual energy. The second step is that you get to get really honest with yourself and your partner, if you have one, about what you want. Women in a sexual winter often don't know what they desire. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they like. They don't know what they need. And that's why they're in a sexual winter, because they have no freaking clue, because their entire creative life force energy is so depressed and so shut down that they have no idea. So the second step after starting a jade egg practice is to begin to ask yourself and journal on this question every single day. What do I want? What do I really want? Not this stupid surface level stuff, okay? Not like, oh, I want this for dinner tonight, or I want to go see this movie. No. Like, what do you really, really want? What's underneath that? What is underneath that thing that you say you want? I want love. I want affection. I want absolute romance. I want to feel wanted. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel confident. I want to feel that I am enough. Whatever it is, I want you to go deep, not the surface level wants and desires, but what do you really, really want? Why do you want that thing? Okay, just keep going deeper. The third step to going from a sexual winter to spring is to start exercising. I know that probably might surprise you, but it's very true that exercise is a huge way to get people out of a depressed state. And in fact, that's one of the things that if you go to therapy for depression, they will tell you to get outside and go on a walk and exercise every day. Because getting out, moving your body takes you out of this slump, this depressed state, and it gets something activated. It starts activating energy in your body. So I don't, because I don't know who you are and I don't know what your level of exercise currently is. Maybe you exercise all the time and you're sitting here thinking, oh, Tilly, I already do that, right? No, it means find something that is enjoyable for you. That's exercise. So if you go do an hour of cardio every day or a couple of times a week, you're someone who goes to the gym all the time and you're sitting there thinking, I already do that, but it's not pleasurable to you. That's not what I'm talking about. The whole purpose of me saying go exercise means finding a way to move energy in your body that feels pleasurable to you. If it doesn't feel pleasurable, if you don't get excited about it, then that exercise is not helping you move energy. Yes, you're doing things, but not in the deep somatic way that I'm encouraging you to do. So maybe that means you take your exercise routine from going run on a treadmill or walk on a treadmill where you're just in some danky gym that smells gross and it doesn't bring you any pleasure or any joy to go do that thing. And it means that instead you go to a dance class, you go take an Argentine tango class or a salsa class or something that's exciting and fun, okay? So you've got to start moving your body, moving energy in your body in a pleasurable way. So you've got your jade egg practice going where you're actually working with sexual energy itself. But I want you to take this into your life and to start doing movement and exercise in a fun and pleasurable way. Maybe it's Zumba for you, whatever it is, but it's got to be pleasurable and it gets to bring you joy. So if your current exercise routine doesn't spark any joy for you, as Marie Kondo would say, then get rid of it, because chances are it's probably not helping you with your health and fitness goals either, okay? If you want to lose weight or if you want to become more toned and fit, then when you're doing things that actually bring you pleasure and joy, you're going to get the result that you are looking for much more quickly than you would if you're sitting here on a Stairmaster in a dank gym and, like it's so not fun. It's so yuck. So go find something that brings you pleasure and joy, that brings movement and exercise to your body. Okay, next one. Number 4, experiment with new techniques and practices to enhance your sexual energy. Well, what could that look like? It could look like trying some tantric techniques with your partner. It could mean doing some rituals, some tantric rituals, sexual rituals with your partner, whatever it means for you, but you got to try something new. Some new practices, new ways to have sex, new ways to connect intimately, trying anything new, okay? You see where I'm getting at? Like winter is dead, but spring, you're doing new things, right? Okay, so anything that's new, even in the exercise, new, something fun, exciting. So you're just engaging in any intimate activity in a new and different way. So maybe you only have sex in one way with your partner. Maybe things have gotten really stale and boring. Well, if you want to go from winter to spring, change things up, shift it. What are you normally doing? Don't do it anymore. Find a different way to initiate sex with your partner. Find a different position that you haven't ever tried before. Start doing some eye gazing with your partner to connect more deeply with them. Whatever it is, just try something new and different. Maybe you have a kinky fantasy that you never played out. Maybe begin talking to your partner about that. Trying something new, deciding that you two might actually want to move towards having your fantasy actually come to life, right? So trying something new. And the next tip that I have for you is to become mindful and very present and in the moment with any sexual activity that you are engaging in, whether it be with yourself or with your partner. If you're only self-pleasuring, let's say you're single, if you're only self-pleasuring to have an orgasm, I want you to stop doing that. I'm not saying don't have an orgasm. I'm just saying I want you to begin to experience self-pleasure with a deeper level of connecting to your body and your sexuality than just going after a goal that takes you however many minutes to get there, and then that's it. Okay, that's boring. That's not fun. That doesn't light the yang, fiery energy that's going to be required to ignite your jingqi, your sexual energy again. So you just having an orgasm or going into a self-pleasure practice with the goal of having an orgasm, using a vibrator and doing as quick as possible, this is not helping you, okay? That is just perpetuating more of the same. It's keeping you in the same state that you're currently in. So if you want to go from a sexual winter to spring and really awaken this aliveness, this deeper energy inside of you, then bring some very present moment attention to the experience itself. How about set your timer for half an hour and give yourself an exquisite sexual experience? Give yourself a 5 senses awakening ritual. Maybe you could have a blindfold. You could get some chocolates or a glass of wine, have some essential oils nearby, have a feather that you use, turn some beautiful music on. Make it a freaking luscious experience where you bring so much presence and mindfulness to your self-pleasure practice, where it's nothing like, oh, I'm just gonna use my vibrator and get off as quick as possible. No, that's not really awakening your sexual energy. So bringing that attention, that mindfulness and presence to your experience. You could do that with a lover as well if you are in a relationship. So, if you are in the relationship, again, trying something new, or when you are trying something new, bringing more presence and mindfulness to the experience itself, where it's not just this, we're just doing this thing to get it over with as quick as possible, okay? All right, and the last tip I have for you, the 6th step, is to seek support with me. Okay, I have a free pleasure assessment call that I offer anyone willing to take me up on it. You know how few of you actually do? Do you even know? It's so many people are so terrified of talking about this, of cracking the door open on this, because they fear it's like a Pandora's box. Oh my God, if I actually go there, what will happen? What will I do? Who will I become? What will happen of my relationship? They're so afraid of cracking the door open on that and having the conversation itself that they don't ever even take that simple action. So you might be sitting here thinking, Tilly, I've listened to you for weeks. Tell me about the pleasure assessment calls. I just didn't book because you probably have hundreds of those every month. No, I don't. You know how many people listen to this podcast? A lot. Okay, a lot of people do. Do you know how many people actually book the call and take the next step to find out what they can do to up-level their sex life and relationship? Oh my God, like a fraction of a percentage of you, a fraction of a percentage. Because so many people are so terrified of cracking that lid open and whatever Pandora's box they think is in there. So if you really want to go from a winter to a spring, you need support. It's going to require support. And that's what I'm here to offer you. So I will share with you in just a moment at the end of the thing, but you can book that call. And I have a plethora of different ways that you might be able to work with me if it makes sense. So don't be afraid to get the help that you need. Don't be afraid to crack open that lid on your sexuality, because it will change everything, but it will change everything for the better. All right, my loves, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Hey there, conscious leader. Are you serious about up-leveling your sex life and relationship right now? Then you are in luck, because if you have been on the personal growth and development path for some time now, maybe you've been to therapy, or maybe you're even a coach, a healer, an entrepreneur, or a therapist yourself, and you're wanting to embody your pleasure more deeply and become a multi-orgasmic millionaire yourself, then I want to invite you to a 1-hour complimentary pleasure assessment call with me that you can book at the link in the show notes or at bit.ly, that's bit.ly/pleasure assessment. In the pleasure assessment call, I'm going to take a full diagnosis of your present moment and past experiences with sexuality and relationships. And then we'll dive into your top goals and desires for these areas of your life. From there, I'll be able to give you your top 2 to 5 blocks and obstacles in the way of you creating these goals and desires, and give you the exact next steps that you get to take to overcome them and that you must take to overcome them. I have done over 700 of these calls, so there is literally nothing I have not heard. I know it can be hard to talk about these things and to crack the door open on your sexuality and talk about it, so that's why I want you to feel as comfortable as possible to open up and share with me. This is a private call, it's just you and I. So if you're someone who wants to feel more confident and sexy in your body, to tap into your feminine energy and bring that into your business, to increase your sexual desire and drive, to get out of your head into your body, to learn how to manifest with your sexual energy, to have mind-blowing orgasms in different ways, or maybe just to reignite the spark with your long-term partner, then book your complimentary pleasure assessment call with me today at the link in the show notes or at bit.ly, that's bit.ly/pleasure assessment. I'll see you there.